All right, Cade McNown. All right, you run into somebody who's never heard of the Rose Bowl, never been to the Rose Bowl stadium, and they say, "Well, describe it to me. What's the big deal? What is the big deal?"
Well, you just got to tell them to come here, and you can't. This is a place that you can't truly explain. You got to feel it. You got to smell it. You got to feel the sun coming down. You got to be looking in the mountains or at the mountains. You've got to feel this great air that's coming through, and then the energy in the stadium is just unbelievable. And seeing the people as they roll through here and how amazed they are at the whole environment. I mean, you can't really explain that. It's just got to be something that you have to experience.
Okay, tell me the difference of experience playing, spectating.
I would say it's a big difference. One, when you're spectating, you get to enjoy the ups and downs of the game. Obviously, you enjoy the ups a lot more, but you get to really feel the game in a way that as a quarterback, you don't want to feel as much. You want to make sure that you're staying composed and in control. And as my coaches used to say, don't let your highs get too high or your lows too low. Stay even keel. That's what good leaders do. They stay steady, and so you have to be a lot more composed, and it is a lot more fun, I would say, to watch the games here and root for your teams than it is to just be out there playing. But of course, I wouldn't change anything. I mean, playing is the best.
What's your first memory of the Rose Bowl? As a young man, or watching it on TV? As a UCLA quarterback?
Yeah, it's hard to distinguish my first memory like on television because I felt like my youth, I watched, all the bowl games every year. I grew up in Northern California and Oregon, as you know. And so, watching Terry Donahue on the field for the Rose Bowl pretty consistently throughout the 80s and seeing so many great games, whether it was USC playing or UCLA or any other number of great universities playing in the Rose Bowl game. But in person, I'll never forget coming down here my senior year of high school on a recruiting trip and being brought out to the Rose Bowl to be able to see it. And the Oregon and Penn State end zone painting was still there. It was probably a week or two afterwards. And just seeing it was actually kind of a wet day the day before, and so it almost felt like a movie set, and walking out and seeing this august stadium just sitting up there in the Arroyo was pretty spectacular to see.
That's funny. That's the first time I ever was at the Rose Bowl was for that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my brother's kid.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough, man. That was the Kajana Carter day.
I think it was the first play of the game. I think the dude ran like 80 yards. Yeah. Like, oh my God, what's going on? USC, UCLA double overtime is a magical game for the Bruins. Put me there.
Well, that was a great game. I mean, look, it was a tough year for us. That was a rebuilding year. That was my sophomore year. I always tell my teammates, if I was a half-decent quarterback my freshman year, we probably would have, we could have won a national championship my freshman year. We had a terrific team, both offense and defense, special teams included. It was just a great team. I was a true freshman, 3 months out of the lunch line at my high school. So I was coming in. I did an okay job, but I could have done a lot better. But my sophomore year really was retooling. We lost pretty much most of the offensive line. Great receivers were gone. I mean, we were really reloading and rebuilding. We lost our head coach, and Bob Toledo came in as, to be the new head coach. So it was a complete rebuild, and we had a tough preseason going back to play at Tennessee and Knoxville, going back to Ann Arbor to play against Michigan in the preseason. And we ended up the season, kind of with a losing record, but we were going into the final game of the year against USC and had a chance to make everything right with a win. We had beaten them at that point 5 years in a row. I was part of the fifth. And they got up on us pretty quickly and were sort of handling the game most of the game. And it was a tough battle, but we came down the stretch and it was about 6.5 minutes to go and we had the ball. And I just told the guys,
You're down 17.
we're down 17 with about 6 minutes to go. And I'll just tell you, I'll be honest, where my head was, I said, guys, let's just finish the season on a high note and get a score. Like, let's just go down and score a touchdown. Let's finish it on a high note. Like, that's what we can control. Let's do it. And actually what had happened first, we were down 17. We ended up getting a field goal to get it to 14. And then we had the ball with less than that, now. So it was 5 something. And it's like, hey, let's just finish on a high note and get a touchdown. And we marched down, we got a touchdown. It was great, high five and like, hey, we're probably going to lose the game, but that was a great way to finish. And then they fumbled, and I could not believe it. I was like, I still get a pit in my stomach thinking about it. Like, I couldn't believe that we were going to have a chance to win, because now you got to reorient your brain. Like, you go from, oh yeah, we did what we could do, to now, oh my gosh, we could actually win this thing. And we went down and scored again and tied it up and went it overtime and double overtime and ended up getting it done. But it was amazing. It's not that we ever gave up, but it's kind of unreasonable to think that something like that's going to happen. But shoot, the defense stripped the ball, they made it happen, and we had another chance and we got it done.
Well, if you do a Cade McNown time capsule at this place, would that game be in it, or what?
Oh yeah.
What moment would be in it?
I mean, there are a lot of moments. I mean, I was very lucky to get to play so many games here at the Rose Bowl. That's certainly up there. I mean, that was a huge comeback. It extended a 6-game win streak. We ended up winning 2 more after that to make it 8. And got out of here with 4 wins over USC. I mean, in those same 4 years, we went 4-0 against Cal and 3-1 against Stanford. To go 11-1 in California during those 4 years was, something to be very proud of. We always talked about going undefeated in California every year, trying to win the Pac-10 at the time, and of course trying to compete for a Rose Bowl slot.
Which you got in '99. So what was that like to bring UCLA to the Rose Bowl? You fall to Wisconsin, but you're playing at the Rose Bowl, in the Rose Bowl, as opposed to a UCLA home game.
I hesitate to say it couldn't have been more different, but it almost couldn't have been more. I mean, it was just the pomp and circumstance. I felt like we always had tremendous support from the UCLA faithful. We became, as you know, in Los Angeles, LA tends to really get excited about winners. And when you're a winning team, everybody comes out. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to see what's happening and be a part of that. And we had a great run. At the time, there were no professional football teams in Los Angeles, right? It was just us and USC. We were on an 8-year winning streak over USC. So we were kind of the show in town. And it was really incredible to have that run up from kind of, the stadium being kind of partially filled on certain games to then by the end of my junior year, this place was packed, and then all my whole senior year was packed. But when we got to the Rose Bowl game itself, and the involvement of the Tournament of Roses and the city of Pasadena, and you see all this hard work, obviously everybody around the Rose Parade, and I didn't really even understand it or appreciate it until I was lucky enough to go into the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame a few years ago, and then getting to really experience all that goes on behind the scenes. And it just, this entire city comes together in a way that's just so unique, and it's such a beautiful place, Pasadena, and obviously the Rose Bowl, being in my opinion, the crown jewel of the area, and just the way it comes alive, on January 1st, from the parade through the game, all the pomp and circumstance. It was an incredible opportunity to experience, and I'm so glad I got to do that.
How important is this place to not just to to Los Angeles, but to the national scene, the vibrancy of the collective soul of America.
It's huge. It has been around for so long. I mean, you think the Rose Bowl's been around long before any professional football existed, right? It's seen so many incredible moments, not just in football, but I mean, obviously tremendous concerts, tremendous, all athletic events of all sorts, soccer, Olympics, on and on, Super Bowls. It's really just an incredible place, but it's a place that people have been able to see on TV for, since they've been broadcasting. And when they get to come here and experience it, it's such a unique experience for them to get to do that and really connect what they thought it was and then realize it was that much better.
Excuse me. How did playing football shape your work ethic?
Boy, what's great about football, or one of the great things about football, is the fact that you have to depend on your teammates and they have to depend on you. And you never fight harder or work harder, than you do when it's for the guy next to you or, on one side or the other side. And you get all these teammates that are depending on you. It pushes you so much further than you probably thought you're capable of. And, I've played some individual sports, which I enjoy, and I still play some today, but, something as dependent on the team interaction as football is something that I wish everybody could play. I mean, I would tell any parent, if your kid wants to hit, please let him play football. If your kid does not want to hit, please don't make him play football because as good as it is for all these reasons, guys like me will find that kid and light him up, and you don't want to do that as a parent, subject him to that. But I will say, for kids that have the energy and the enthusiasm and want to go out and do that, let them do it, because it is the greatest game. It teaches so much. Everybody knows it, and that's why everybody wants to play it. Of course, it's not for everybody. At the end of the day, though they're finding ways, whether it's through flag football or other avenues, to get people involved. It's just so much fun.
I think it was Bradshaw who said, he said, close your eyes at the stadium here. Close your eyes and this place would talk to you. If you close your eyes and what's it say to you? What's this place?
Shoot, I better go try that. I don't know. I haven't done it yet. Every time I'm here, I got to have my eyes are like wide open. But I would say, just off the cuff, thinking of, when I close my eyes and think of the Rose Bowl, I just think of this tremendous setting. I think of really the biggest events that take place here, because you see the Rose Bowl at its finest when this place is completely packed, and the way it spreads out, there's not a bad seat in the house. And what's really great is even from the upper levels, maybe especially from the upper levels, you get to take in the beauty of the environment. I mean, it's great to be down there on the field or, have lower seats and be close to the action. But I'll tell you, anywhere inside the stadium is a special place to be.
All right, last one. How do you compare these two honors, okay? You mentioned being inducted into the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame or having a tunnel named after you here, that you have the Cade McNown Tunnel.
I mean, look, either one, you're pretty, humbled to be. I
mean, how's that conversation go? We're going to name the tunnel after you.
Like, why? But and then very quickly, thank you. So it's been a huge honor for me to be, to come here as a high schooler, and as I described, and then to get to play here the first time. I'll never forget the first game I played here was, I was a second stringer. I'd worked my way up, in a, short month or so, and through some injuries and some, I played okay. And I was, next thing you know, I'm number 2, and our quarterback gets knocked out, and we're playing the University of Miami. Ray Lewis is middle linebacker, and Jonathan Ogden's my left tackle, and I get called in for a play, and I'm like right out of high school, and Keith Jackson's doing the game, and I got to watch it. I got to watch it the next day, the televised version, and Keith Jackson says, here comes the young left-hander out of Westland, Oregon, Cade McNown, McNown. Remember that name. So I'm like, I got Keith Jackson calling my name. Like, this is great. So it was like, if it would have ended there, I would have been happy, and then to get to play so many more games and get to stay on the field and be healthy and just have really an amazing, fun career that I'm very, very proud of looking back. Obviously, everybody on that field, coaches, trainers, players, I mean, everybody is what makes it happen. But just to be a part of that is so special. And, the celebrations after the game are always incredible. And it's just fun. I mean, it's about as fun as it can get.
Right on, man. Excellent. Thank you, Brad. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it.
You got it.